Start over. This meeting is being held in person and through the platform Zoom. A link for virtual participation can be found on the agenda on the city's website. Okay, so we call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Greg Hogan.
Present.
Councilmember Chris Moore. Assistant City Administrator Kim Agfalvy.
Here.
Public Works Director Ryan McBee.
Here.
And Engineer JC Hungerford. Okay.
Thank you. And it was Alyssa? Allison. Had the right alphabet. I was close. I'm trying. You know how long it took with you. Okay. Approval of minutes? Minutes are good. Thank you. Public comments and presentation? You sure? Building Department, Mr. Lincoln, please.
Well, good afternoon.
Is this my readout?
That is yours. So for the month of November, we processed 20 permits. And part of those permits were also dealing with our right-of-way permits. So we had 5 of those. We had 2 commercial plan reviews. We had 10 residential plan reviews with a total of 14 reviews for the month. Currently, we have 8 projects in the queue. We have 227 active permits. We have 2 permits waiting to be picked up. In regards to inspections, there were 69 inspections taking place, and we currently have 12 code enforcement cases on the books. So, and part of this month, we've also had our fill-in inspection company, Sound Inspection fill-in while I was out on medical leave. So everything's moving forward and still have a good flow and plan for at least through next year for it to keep going like that.
Thank you. What are the commercial ones? Do you remember?
Oh, I think they were more like small repairs, mechanical,
Oh,
and
okay.
so forth. Nothing major.
Okay, thank you. Building Department. Oh, we just did that. Administration, ACA, Kim. Council goals, alarm summaries.
So Councilmember Moore had requested a spreadsheet of the alarms that happened within the SCADA system. And Supervisor Daskin is still working on tailoring that report down. So it gives the pertinent information, but not too much information.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you want enough to keep us happy, but not the bad guys.
There you go.
Thank you. Is that it?
That's all. Yes, we've come up with a template yet, but it's on the to-do list as we're still working through that process of tailoring that report.
Thank you. Please try to get it done within the next 2 years before I leave.
Gonna be.
Okay, thank you.
And who says you can leave?
Engineering report. JC, how we doing?
Okay.
Good.
Washtenaw Fish Passage project's going well. We delivered 30% to the city a couple weeks ago. Public Works provided comments. We're incorporating those comments and have weekly meetings with Washtenaw. So project's going well there. Stormwater plan and water system plan, both of them. Director McBee is providing comments to us. We're having regular meetings with the city. We had one yesterday on the stormwater plan, and we meet bi-weekly on the water system plan. So both are moving forward as we intended. And then city standards, before the holiday, all the public works came up to our office and we did a page turn workshop. We went through the roadway and water standards and pointed everything out, gathered a bunch of comments, And then next week, we'll be going through stormwater and sewer in the similar fashion, going through every single page, gathering comments from the city, and then putting together a final draft for review for the city. So
Sweet. Anything else, JC?
that's it. Multiple questions.
Well, excuse me, has WASDOT changed their mind on anything lately?
Not lately, not since last month. I mean, they're constantly changing. I guess one thing that they did throw at us is because this project continues to go on for many years. Today, they decided that we're gonna be updating from 2025 WashDOT specifications to 2026, which actually does have substantial changes in the overall document. Luckily for our process, we're only at 30%. We're not very far down the line yet, but between 25 and 26, there are substantial changes in specifications, so. That's just WashDOT. They do that every year. Some years they're large changes. This is a big change year, so.
Okay, thank you. When did we start doing this city standard stuff? Was that a plan quite a while ago, Ryan? I don't remember.
It started this year and it was something that had been budgeted. It was also one of those things that Public Works had started that process at some point in the last 5-ish years, but never ever got it across the finish line. So that was one of those things early on. We decided collectively between engineering staff and Public Works staff with the former city administrator, that we need to get this done because it will make everything else a lot easier down the road as we go through a myriad of different types of projects and commercial, residential type of projects throughout the city. So I want to say we really started in June timeframe, and Parametrics had already provided some drafts to us, which we gathered up, consolidated all those and provided those back so they could get the initial inputs from the city before we got our 30, really about 60% design on those standards. So it was very, very productive, time well spent, a lot of learning for some folks that haven't necessarily been involved in that type of a process. Very collaborative. So yeah. Definitely looking forward to seeing that come to fruition and then that carry on through all of the other future projects that we do with the city.
Nice. Come across a lot of antiquated stuff or?
Yeah. Definitely there are some obsolete parts and things that were called out, not necessarily available or didn't necessarily meet the free requirements that are in the system for water nowadays. One thing that our staff had identified, especially out on Rainier Meadows, part 2, some of the details that we're calling for the polyline connections to the actual saddles themselves were not as effective as they should be. So we're making sure that we've got that detail outlined correctly within that standard, so we don't have to have any issues in the future after
Down the road.
So a lot of good productive conversations.
Great. Thank you. Well, now that we got through that, how about Public Works?
Looking to see on that WashDOT. Essentially, anything that we've already put out for bid is good. So Kansas, we won't have to do any work for that one. But any future project moving forward after a certain date will be required to be the 2026 WashDOT.
So is there a line they draw to where you gotta update and not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, for city projects, you have the option to do anything you want as far as if it's a city funded project, you could keep it in whatever documents you want. Some cities are a few versions behind. If you do have state and federal funding, then they usually mandate that you update the standards, so.
So it's best to just keep updated. So when we,
Yeah, although like I feel like some of these where you've made a lot of progress on design and you're just about to go to bid, you're at 90 or 100%. And they come out, if you're doing local funding and they come out a week before bidding, I would just recommend sticking with the prior years. The contractors are used to them, whichever version. It's just which I used to say which book they put in their truck, but now which one you look online. So.
okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I found the date that I forwarded to JC. Project advertised after April 1st that use the washout standard specs has to use the 2026 conversion.
So we're good, whatever we got in place for now.
Yep. All right, so moving on to our public works updates, sludge reduction project update. I'll speak towards the work that's going on at the plant, and then I'll let JC give a quick brief update on the tech memo and the sampling analysis plan, just for the record group. At current, all the import is complete, and they have graded and compacted the materials there. So this morning, they were starting the process of rolling out the membrane and getting that all constructed out there on site with geobags to be placed on top of those. Their tentative schedule at this moment is to get all of that completed this week, do a pump test of their equipment on Friday, and then they'll be ready to go for putting stuff into bags. Potentially as early as Monday, but it's all pending DOE's final approval on the sample analysis plan. And our tech memo resubmission, they had some questions, so we're providing some clarifying answers, some images, and facts and figures, essentially. But holistically, Ecology is on board with the geobags, especially with all of it being restricted to inside the berm area. As I mentioned to you when you picked up your packet at Public Works, we have elected, based on the headway that staff have made in pumping water off the top of the lagoon itself, in towards the plant a couple of manholes before, so it kind of gets diluted a little bit, so it's not necessarily as concentrated. We've made a good 8 to 12 inches of headway in the liquid level itself. Once we start pumping solids into the bags, that liquid level will definitely drop throughout the entire lagoon. We'll pause our pumping operations just because we don't know what that water quality is going to be like as it's coming out of the bags and returning back into the lagoon. So we don't want to upset the process until things kind of stabilize and balance. When Robbins comes in and completes their first round of bag filling inside the lagoon area, we'll let it settle and gravity thicken probably 2-3 weeks. They'll come back out, refill the bags, and we'll probably ask them, depending on what the bag level looks like, may have them do it a third time just to maximize what we're putting into the bags. But that should satisfy Ecology's requests of us. Also, something that you'll notice in the budget for next year as well is we added a $1.6 million line item in there to continue our solids reduction. As we talked in the finance committee 2 weeks ago before Thanksgiving, is we kind of have a double-edged sword here, really a three-edged sword. We've got the biosolids facility construction project, we've got sludge going into bags, but we still have to address the sludge in the lagoon and the levels there. So we're going to be working with a contractor to explore the G3 technology, its efficacy, and what it can do for us to better help support the overall biosolids management in the lagoon and help provide us some more clarity down the road on what we need to do there. Especially with it being an older lagoon, single liner, Ecology's preference down the road will be for us to address the lagoon liner, and all liners nowadays are double lined with an interstitial monitoring system in place. So down the road we have that to look forward to, but at this moment I don't have an idea of when that is going to come our direction as a mandate from ecology. But once we do build a biosolids facility, that will come sooner rather than soon. Over to you, JC.
Yeah, Director McPhee said, there's two things, Apologies waiting on. We had submitted a technical memorandum explaining the process of what we're doing here that Ryan just explained. They came back with some comments. I talked with Ecology about it yesterday. And then, in addition to that is what Ecology calls a sampling and analysis plan. So there's a series of samples that need to be done and sent to labs when you're removing biosolids from your plant, as well as annual samples that need to be done on your biosolids. So what Ecology asked us to do, we submitted a draft of the sampling analysis plan. They also asked that we update it in accordance with the 2025 biosolids permit that the city has. So we're just finishing that up. I just got it in my email right now, so I'm going to send it during this meeting to Ecology. Just finishing that up. The memo's going to go first, and then the sampling analysis plan will be going to Ecology later this afternoon. Like I said, I did talk to Eddie Simmons at Ecology yesterday, talked through some of the issues that they see with approval. So we've mitigated that already in the approaches of the project. So hopefully, once we submit it, I plan on calling them just to get a better understanding of what their review timeframe is.
Sounds good. So you'll be testing the liquid coming out of the bags. Is that when you test it, when it comes out to see what it's got? Both inside?
There's in situ tests in your lagoon itself for things like metals. We also have to do a vector attraction analysis, which essentially is rodent attraction, and other pollutants like nitrates and things like that. So you do it in the lagoon itself, and then prior to land application, after the dewatering process, we do another test, a composite test of representative of what's in the bags. So it may be one composite test if all the bags are very similar in nature as far as dewatering, or if we see inconsistencies among the bags, we would do additional composite tests so they're representative of, one's closer to more liquidy than the other. So then we'd grab two samples just to get representative and have an idea of what percent solids are in the various bags.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on that one?
Not for now. I'll write them down though, and I'll let you know.
A project update for council on Wednesday.
Great, thank you.
Got some pictures and costs to date for materials and things of that. Moving on to the Ording Emergency Evacuation Bridge, just a quick update there. We had a good team meeting this morning. We do have James Kirk, our new city inspector. He's on board as of Monday. Happened to meet him yesterday when we picked up your packet. He's been working hand in hand with Sam, the parametrics inspector. That's part of the job. Now working on transitioning Sam off the job by end of the week, and then James Kirk will take over construction inspection moving forward. You will see a lot of slowdown on the project at this point. Right now, they're concentrating on the ramp portion that goes up on the east side over towards Rocky Road. They'll be forming up, getting everything to proper grade, and then not looking to see any concrete being poured, at least in the month of December, potentially to mid-January timeframe. Weather is not necessarily conducive for that elevated concrete work there. But as things go, they've got other items that they'll be forming up throughout the project and gearing back up for doing concrete pours later on, like February, March time. Had a good site walk with all of our team out there this morning, walking around, taking a look at some minor changes as far as when the fencing gets reinstalled for the couple property owners, what that looks like, how much space there's going to be, what the level of maintenance that we as the city staff would like to accept or not accept. So we're working through that, as well as kind of some final site grading, etc., on the east side, right there at the corner of Rocky Road and the school district's parcel. So there was some work that was left out of the design on purpose because we didn't know what the school district's plans were. So we're gonna be kind of just grading that back to match and removing portions of Rocky Road and have it slope down to the road. Other than that, I think everything's going pretty well with the bridge. No other significant issues that we're running into, to my knowledge. Anything from Ashley or JC on the bridge? If there's no questions, Safe Streets for All update, 300, I think it was 305 surveys were received from the community and anyone else online, which was definitely great to see, way more than I think what we were anticipating and expecting. They're working through that process and consolidating the information, applying the data to the maps, and we'll have some more information there as we meet again. Foothills Trail realignment safety enhancement update, right now. Excuse me.
Is there a date planned for Safe Streets? Was it February or something? Do you remember? Okay. Okay. Just double checking. Thank you. Sorry about that. Thanks, Ryan.
Foothills Trail, council approved that contract with McLeod Record, but we are still waiting on WashDOT to give us the final approval to actually execute the contract. So at this moment, we're kind of on hold there with McLeod Record. That is the realignment in the park for the trail. The comprehensive plan updates, we talked a little bit about that already. I'll talk general sewer plan and the biosolids facility updates here as well. The general sewer plan is sitting with Ecology right now. They're in their review process. Hopefully we'll hear some comments back here by end of December so we can get those incorporated. But we do have some good news on the biosolids facility itself. The facility design report, got to make sure I get the right acronym, was approved in the last couple of weeks. So that's moving forward. So we have permission to construct the biosolids facility officially. Also, we got an email earlier this week, late last week, that the plans and specifications for that same facility are also approved. So we can build a biosolids treatment facility. At this moment, they're finishing up getting the design up to 100% and waiting on the general sewer plan. So, the other element of that is, given the engineer cost estimate of about $35 million, which includes construction engineering, construction management, inspection services, there's a delta in available funds that the city has versus what's needed to construct the facility. At the beginning of September, we went ahead and requested additional funding through DOE. So Ecology's got a request in. We'll see if they're able to help us bridge that $15 million gap and potentially build that facility. But if not, we don't want to necessarily put all our eggs in that one basket, which is why we're talking the reduction of the sludge in the lagoon itself to allow us extra time to secure funding down the road. So there was
At one time, there's talk about purchasing some bonds or something. Was that for the treatment plant?
I know Scott had mentioned doing something along that lines, but we never pursued anything else at that point. I want to say that was August, September. We had a couple of conversations about it. That is an option that is out there.
Yeah.
But I have not done something like that, so I would have to default to others in the room that may have some.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I think it was just talk at the time. I was just making sure okay, thank you.
Also, the rate study is going well with some questions that they have asked us, and I've got some information back to them. We should have a preliminary meeting on what those rates kind of look like initially without the capital projects in there, hopefully this month in December. And then, White Hawk Boulevard extension and the connector update. We're just waiting on our NEPA approval to come in. WashDOT's got it. Basically, everything is approved, but she was waiting on a update to the State Transportation Improvement Plan for that project. So once that goes in, local programs will give us the okay, and then we can move on into that right-of-way phase, which is also in the 2026 budget. And that's all I have.
Great, thanks. So that was the right-of-way phase. We knew we were going to go into 26 on that, right? Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Oh, guess not. Thanks, Ryan. We got a quick finance update, or she's going home?
She's up.
Yeah, I understand. That's fine.
Yeah.
No, yeah, she needs a couple hour break. Make sure she's back tomorrow. No. There you go. There you go. Yes. Okay. Okay, thank you.
I will throw in just a little bit of a finance update for you. Last week, Tammy and I sat together for a couple of hours and just went through both the TIP and the CIP and made sure that those aligned with the budget and vice versa. So you'll see when you look at the TIP, CIP programs in the version 2 draft budget, it will match what's in the actual revenue and expenses. So that also went with any of those planning documents that we're still in the process of completing, like city standards, the water system storm. I carried those balances forward into the next year, just so we can make sure that we've got that available to pay for our consultants doing work. That's all I had.
Thank you. Great. Okay. Tell Tammy to get well quickly. Okay, we're going to move into new business. Ryan, it looks like you're back up.
But for this first one, I'm actually going to pass that baton over to Ashley.
I knew that was going to happen.
Ashley did not know that was gonna happen.
Well, sorry, Ashley.
Okay. Which one are we putting on? The Kansas Street?
Yep.
Okay, yes, so there's a presentation in your packet. As you know, the project spans between Co-Lane Southwest and Harmon Way South for Schedule A and B, which is the roadway and the utility upgrades. In that section, we're going to do a full roadway reconstruction. Is this not working? Weird. Oh, okay. Switch out.
Is that the vacuum cleaner?
There we go. That's better. Anyway, so the work we're doing between Co-Lane and Harmon is full roadway reconstruction, lighting upgrades, sidewalks, ADA ramps, crosswalk improvements, stormwater, and the water main replacement. And then there is a little bit of work at Calistoga in Kansas for some stormwater conveyance work. So that's all the work we're doing. And the purpose of the project is to improve safety, accessibility, and to renew our infrastructure. We did have grant funding in the project. In the design phase, FHWA contributed around $400,000. With that, we do have a Buy America requirement. We do not have a DBE requirement in construction, though. The Transportation Improvement Board gave us money for right-of-way, and they're also funding the construction phase along with the city's match, and the city will be taking care of paying for the utility work. The consultant is Parametrics. Parametrics was procured through a competitive request for qualifications process in 2020, which included civil engineering, transportation planning, environmental permitting, right-of-way, and construction management. So the contract was pretty much from the very beginning to the very end of the project. We completed outreach in September of 24 and received feedback that we need to improve the routes to school, make them safer, improve our crosswalks and traffic calming, which we will be implementing in the construction phase. Property owners with a temporary construction easement will be notified 30 days in advance before construction starts. So as soon as I get council approval, we'll send a notice to the homeowners. I'm also working on a utility bill mailer just to go in the city utility bills so that everybody will know this is happening, because it will be impactful for traffic on Harmon and Calistoga and Kansas. Right-of-way was completed this year in September, so we have all 57 properties acquired, and we bid the project in October. So we got 18 bids, which is a record for me anyway. And Active Construction Inc. was the lowest responsible bidder. So they will handle the construction. Parametrics, we have a proposal from them for the construction management, engineering, and special testing. As Ryan mentioned, we hired a city inspector. James Kirk started this week, so he will be our inspector out there. And Puget Sound Energy will need to install the decorative lighting due to high voltage line requirements by RCW. And then the general fund is covering the contingency. So at the bottom down there is a little chart just showing what Transportation Improvement Board funding is, which is $4,347,007. And the city of Orting's share is $1,781,812, and I can't talk today. So anyway, and that is the city's share, and then also to cover the water line and the stormwater work at Calistoga and Kansas. If you go to the next slide, I'm not sure what page it is in your packet, possibly 7. It has a chart showing our budgeting and funding. So the top section of the chart is everything that is eligible for Transportation Improvement Board funding, and that includes construction management and engineering, construction inspection, the street lighting, and the cost of Schedule A, which is the roadway work. And the city's share of Schedule A is 10%. We do pay for all of the water line and all the stormwater work. And then in the bottom part is the non-eligible costs that the city will pay for, which is that water line I just talked about and the stormwater work. So that all shows the total budget is $6,180,235, funded by TIB, stormwater. The street TBD is contributing. Most of the contingency is sitting in the general fund. And so we are fully funded, which is really exciting because about 6 months ago, we weren't sure we were going to be fully funded. So we're super excited. We're moving forward. Now, our next steps, we are asking council to award the contract to the lowest responsible bidder, Active Construction, before the bids expire in January. Typically, bids are good for 60 days, but I did ask that these be good for 70, I think was what the number we went with, just because we had some holidays in there. And so we wanted to make sure we had enough time to get everything approved. Once we get council approval, we'll hold a pre-construction meeting in December so that the contractor can start working on their submittals, and you'll probably see them mobilize in January. And like I said, residents will get a letter just letting them know who the contractor is, kind of when you'll see things happening, and then we will beef up our communications with people as we go. I've been working on a communication plan that is going to be executed once we get approval to move forward. And that is the Kansas presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
What is DBE?
DBE is Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, and that is typically tied to federally funded projects. But since we don't have federal funding in the construction phase, we didn't have a DBE goal in construction. We did have a DBE goal in design, but we exceeded it.
Okay,
Which is great.
nice.
And we will still have a DBE working in construction. One of the sub-consultants to Parametrics is a DBE. So they're still on board. We're just not counting their participation because we don't have to.
Okay, cool. Still looking for a laydown yard.
That has not come up yet. Yes, I imagine they will be looking for a laydown yard, but that'll probably come up at the pre-con.
Okay.
Our bid project, so they're kind of.
Yeah.
Have it figured out on that.
Yeah, I would
Yep.
think.
The city's been a good partner in letting folks sort things when needed, but if they
Mhm.
do need substantial laydown, they should have that figured out.
Hmm.
Okay. Good. No, I mean, looking at the original cost to what we are today, that almost doubled, didn't it?
Hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. We got so many bidders too.
Yeah,
It might be a little worrisome of what, the economy might be looking like that we had so many people bid on it, but good for us.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So,
Yeah. You're not happy when there's only one or two, and then
Right.
you're scared when there's 18. So I don't know what to do.
the day that, yeah.
Start to see some of the new names coming back into public works when the, land development type contractors come back into public works. That's when we kind of wonder if it's the front end of a recession, because we saw this happen prior to the last recession. So it is sometimes makes us a little nervous when these contractors are getting really hungry for work and bidding really low as well.
Yeah.
So.
Wish I had more projects to bid right now. Tell you that.
Okay, well, thank you
Yeah.
very much.
I did the two-way left turn lane in front of Shell Station there, so they're familiar with working.
Oh, right.
Oh, I
Okay.
didn't know that.
Good partner.
Yeah,
That's good.
I know some of the people have worked for him, and I've not heard complaints from the hands, so that's a good thing.
Good.
He retired right after that job, and he'd bring his dog to the job site every day. So that was always a highlight.
But I mean, the other nice thing is they're close.
Yes.
So. Okay, so that was Kansas presentation. Okay, who's doing the AB 25106 roadway improvement construction?
I'll take that. This agenda bill 25106 for the contract award with ACI. The total cost of the item is $5,156,455, which includes a contingency of 10% from the contract. What you'll see there in the bars number section, how it's broken out based on that sources and uses table that was in the presentation and also at the end of this as well. So everything includes the 10% for those bars codes. We're looking timeline wise to get this approved at the next meeting with council. So our bids are good through January 2nd, 2026. The last thing that we want to do is have to go back out for rebid, which then pushes everything out essentially 2 months to the right. And there'd be no guarantee that we would match any change in those costs. As a fiscal note, the construction phase of the project is funded through the Transportation Improvement Board grant that the city received, the Water and Stormwater Enterprise Funds, the City Transportation Benefit District, and general fund. And if you'd like, I can go ahead and read that summary statement as well.
Sure, please.
The city advertised the Kansas Street Southwest Roadway Improvements Project with bids due on October 30th, 2025. The city received 18 bids, with Active Construction Incorporated being the lowest responsible bidder, with a bid amount of $4,687,687. The contract should be executed before the end of 2025. If not, the project will be required to be rebid, resulting in additional consultant fees and overall project costs could increase. Additionally, the granting agency TIB would have to reapprove the contract award and any additional funding from the granting agency. The project reconstructs Kansas Street Southwest, restores structural additions, adds new sidewalks, drainage improvements, and adds lighting improvements along that corridor. The recommended action is going to be to authorize the mayor or designee to execute a contract with Active Construction Incorporated for Kansas Street Southwest reconstruction in an amount not to exceed $4,687,687, with a 10% contingency of $468,768 for a total amount of $5,156,455. And further in your packet, you'll see the bid tab. Just a portion of it, because if we included the entire bid tab, it would be an entire roll fly. You wouldn't be able to read it.
Yeah, I thumbed through it kind of quick, but yeah, it looks pretty thorough.
Yeah, so you'll see the three different schedules there, as we discussed.
Oh, I had one question about why does it list a heating, ventilation, and air conditioning subcontractor?
That's standard.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a state requirement that you have that form with all public bids, so it's often fine, but it's standard for all public bids.
In case something comes up that,
I don't know where it stems from, but every single bid I've seen in Public Works has that form.
okay,
RCW that makes you select that at any time.
oh, so you're covering everything in your bid if you need it. Okay, so we're gonna bring this to the December 10th meeting for approval, is that correct?
Like that.
Wait, so Allison, is that right?
Yes, that's what I'm tracking it, so there'll be 3 Kansas Street items that are gonna be there.
Okay.
On the 10th. Because of the short nature of the December meetings.
Right,
Hopefully passing a budget, we may not have another December meeting, and so because the bids will expire before we meet again.
the first of the year.
We need to chat about this. So there's 3 agenda bills coming your way. One is for the contract award for the Kansas Street reconstruction. One is for roadway improvement lighting from PSE. And another one is engineering and construction management services that will be provided by Parametrics.
Right.
So, you know, I think the imperative one to pass is the first ones. The actual contract award, that's my understanding, the only thing that expires. The TSE lighting, if they're requested, and it had to go to January, it would be the end of the world.
Well, it's,
There's a long lead on those polls, so they all really need to go together
Yeah.
if possible.
No,
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
so let's, yes, correct, so 106, 109, and then the parametrics 107,
Yep.
okay? Oh, no. Ryan's Thunder?
Okay.
No, yep, that's what I gathered when I looked through the packet. And so let's, there'll all be agenda items on December 10th?
Yeah, so committee is gonna bring forth any necessary items, so I'm already building an agenda out.
Okay,
So there'll be a public hearing, for the 40 municipal code update, the 12, 13, and 15. And then, every item after that will just be a standalone item, so there'll be a budget item, a budget amendment. Then these particular Kansas Street items, from CGA, there's a request to close City Hall on December 26th because we're gonna be really short on staff. It's a Friday. The day after Christmas, there'll be a contract for the new attorney and, renewing Kim Gunderson's contract. And then I think there will also be, it's a lot of contract renewals. There'll be one for a prosecutor and a public defender coming out of the Public Safety Committee tomorrow. So, hopefully it'll look like a lengthy agenda, but a lot of them should just hopefully be like a yes, yes, yes kind of thing.
Let's hope so.
That's what I'm hoping. That's why the budget's first.
Okay, so,
Go down.
okay, so Public Works totally supports what we're gonna put on the agenda. Committee and the staff. So
As long as you're okay with it.
I am totally, that was one of my questions was it this coming meeting?
Yeah. We're gonna try to move these items to December 10th. If something doesn't work out, then we have another study session. In the middle of December. The good news is we have had action items at a study session before, so realistically could utilize that meeting since it's a regularly scheduled meeting to pass something. And then if we get to December 31st, we'll probably have to have a conversation, because I don't know if anyone wants to be here on New Year's Eve.
Oh, I do. I just,
That's just you by yourself.
yeah, just I'll come practice. Okay,
Yep, and I've already cut and pasted everything I need, so, as long as there's no substantive changes from you. I'm
No.
good to go.
I'm good to go with what is on our plan.
And then if there's no questions on that first agenda bill, I can move into the second one.
Okay, the PSC one?
Yep.
And that one, and the main thing there is because, like it says, because the power lines, they take control of it,
Yeah.
right?
They have to do that.
Yeah. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. We knew that all along anyway, I believe, pretty much, didn't we, Ashley? Okay,
That one's just a agreement there.
okay,
Look through. the item
07,
is 107. Kansas Street Southwest Roadway Improvements Construction Management and Engineering Services. The cost of that is $528,419.28, which includes a $52,841.93, $10% contingency for a not to exceed of $581,261.21.
okay,
The amount budgeted is the total budget of the project. Obviously, at this point, we have an unexpended balance equal for that. The construction phase of this project is funded through TIB, Water, Stormwater Enterprise Funds, and City Transportation Benefit District and General Funds. Going into the summary statement in the agenda bill, Public Works seeks approval to execute a contract for construction management and construction engineering services with Parametrics Incorporated for Kansas Street Southwest Roadway Improvements Project. The request for qualifications issued by the city in 2020 stated at design award, the consultant team selected shall be capable of providing civil engineering, transportation planning, environmental permitting, right-of-way, and construction management services. Parametrics Incorporated was awarded the work through a competitive process. These services intend to assist the city as the single point of contact to administer the contract for construction, approved with the low bidder, monitoring the performance of the construction contractor, and verifying that the contractor's work conforms to the plans and specifications in partnership with the city construction inspector. The city will be involved in the construction process to make decisions, provide approvals, and perform other actions as needed for completion of the construction. Parametrics will provide construction engineering and construction management services for the duration of 270 days during construction. Note that Parametrics will not be performing construction inspection. This will be handled by the city construction inspector. Recommended action there is to authorize the mayor or designee to execute the contract for Parametrics construction management engineering services for Kansas Street Southwest roadway improvements in the amount of $528,419. plus 10% contingency in the amount of $52,841 for a total not to exceed amount of $581,261.21. Our request is to also move this with the rest of the canvas into the next regular meeting and move forward.
Okay. And then, who will our inspector be reporting to?
So James Kirk will be inspecting and reporting to both Ashley and I, but directly he reports to me.
Okay,
He'll work hand in hand with the construction manager for the project themselves. So much like what he's gonna be doing with the bridge, he works hand in hand with Scotty Ireland, who you've met
Right.
before as the primary construction manager. And then the construction documents specialist that we have for the bridge, he'll work closely with them on this project as well.
okay,
They'll use virtual project management, which is the same that we're using on the bridge, so all of the daily reports, everything will be identical to what James Kirk is becoming familiar with this week.
okay. And then we're gonna revisit the construction management contractor, that
Yeah, talking about the
The KBI.
KBI one,
construction management
KBA, yeah,
master contract.
right.
Yes.
Okay.
That'll come up in discussion in January.
Okay,
When Ashley and I learned that Parametrics was essentially awarded the construction management services at time of design, more or less. We had already reached out to KBA and received a proposal from them, as well as proposals from Parametrics. So going back in the time machine to 2020, when we learned that information, we elected to go ahead and move forward with Parametrics as our construction manager.
right. And that's a different team than JC, right? Is that right? It's,
And different division. Obviously, I keep tabs on everything wording and I attend meetings as needed and things like that. So, but it'll be managed with our construction management team that has specific processes that we've applied to the bridge and other projects. So they specialize in all the funding requirements, whether they're state or federal as well. So it's audit ready if you were to put audit on the project.
sure. Okay, thank you.
And the project team that Parametrics has proposed, granted, you won't see the names, but you'll see at least the positions and everything on the budget matrix on the very, very last page of that agenda bill. The names of the folks that are assigned to the project are ones that we're familiar with and that we were able to request a couple by name. It's really pretty awesome. We've got experience that we're bringing from the bridge that already knows kind of how Ashley's on things and how we'll have to manage our program.
So it's a group that you're comfortable with,
Yes.
have faith in. Okay. So we'll put that as a standalone item too then. 107. Right, so we got 16, 109, 107. Okay. Got that, Allison? Did I get your name right? Twice in one day? I'll keep it up. Okay, so that's the only thing we got going ahead then, right? Is those three items. Okay. So we'll have an update at council meeting on our bag project.
Yes.
And it's rolling today. I went over to Public Works to get my packet yesterday and I'm sitting in the truck and I feel this and it's a familiar noise or sound, and I'm going, what in the heck is that? Well, it's been a long time. Then I come out and there comes the roller out beside the building. I'm going, man, it's been a long time since I heard and felt that. So, but yeah, so that was a good sign. So, okay, so we're really looking forward to this project. Get us ahead of the curve, we hope.
Yeah.
So, okay, any final comments from staff? That's scary.
No, it's reminded me as the paving truck and folks have been leaving here, they paved Rainier Meadows today, so, the new development on the old Schoenbachler farm, so they now have roads in place and, they'll be pretty soon requesting final plat approval on that.
Nice.
Maybe a final plat before the pickleball court to them?
No,
Okay,
I don't think so.
I was curious about that.
Yeah, probably not with it being a PUD.
Yeah, so I know there's a meeting coming up with regard to that, so.
Well, that's critical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what I hear, everyone's been asking for a pickleball court for some time.
Except for one council member,
Yeah.
they make too much noise on the paddles.
There.
Okay, we'll get over it. We'll probably, I'll buy a box of earplugs. That it?
All I got.
Okay, and Allison, we're on the same page, so thank you so much. Ready to go home? Well, can I take a 5-minute break before I do? Thanks, because I really need it. Okay, so Public Works is adjourned. Thank you so much. That was great.